Brothers and sisters, let's all read Proverbs chapter 31. Today we have Pastor HK sharing. It's the last book in the whole book of Proverbs. Let's see how it concludes and the whole book of Proverbs. In the beginning of the Proverbs, the Proverbs chapter 1. Remember, let's turn to Proverbs chapter 1. Chapter 1, verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of your father and do not forsake the law of your mother. That's Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. So, instruction of father and the law of mother. That's the book that contains both. You may consider the book of Proverbs as a family education for the Israel, how they bring up, how they teach their students. So when we read the whole book of Proverbs, we really realize, we can sense that it's a teaching, saying from a father. But now chapter 31, the very chapter we are reading today, it talks about the teaching of a mother. So we mention this name. So that's King Lemuel, a godly man. That's the chapter records his word, but not spoken by him. Basically, it's the utterance which his mother taught him. It's actually the teaching of King Lemuel's mother. My son, this is what you are to do. From the beginning of the Proverbs until the last one, started with the teaching of father and then ends with the teaching of mother. This is a passage of life. It's a progress of life. It is a passage of life. How do children grow up? How should they grow up? Stay away from the violent companions. Stay away from adulterous women. To the young, to the youth, these are very crucial temptations. Your peers, your companions, do not be influenced by them. Pay attention to your lustful impulses. Do not be greedy. Pursue wisdom. That's how the book of Proverbs started. Very practical, very down-to-earth advices. The author really knows all kinds of temptation a young Israel grows up face. But now, chapter 31, telling the son, my son, you must have self-discipline over your life. Must have. This is talking to a king. You are a godly man. When you want to rule others as a king, first of all, you must rule over your own body, your own life. One who can't rule over himself will be ruled over by others. Now you're above all. You have become king over the nation. You must rule over your own life. Here is divided into two paragraphs, quite obviously. Verse 1 to 9. Verse 10 to 31 is the second paragraph. The self-discipline we talk about is in the first paragraph, verse 1 to 9. So you rule over your own body doesn't mean you just restrain your body. What not to do. But when you rule over your own body, you know what to do, what not to do. You need to do what you should do well. For example, rule over our body doesn't mean that we lose weight. We need to live a healthy life. We eat healthy food. So, fixed time and in orderly. You know your body nature. Pursue a balanced life. That's rule over your body. If like with all kinds of sicknesses, like we have headache, we have dizziness or whatever, we must start with our diet. To a king, what's the most important thing? He must rule over his life. Verse 3, do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys king. Verse 4, here it says, his name mentioned again, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine. Have you ever seen those kings who do not touch wine, drink? It's non-existent. Most kings, they drink every day. Because no one can kind of like discipline him. As a king, you surely can do it. But a good king disciplines what goes into his mouth, goes into his body. Because he will speak up, plead the cause of the poor and needy. Verse 9, open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Verse 9. A drunkard will be unable to do that. He doesn't have the discernment needed. He will not focus on the needs of others. When the alcohol is intoxicating the body, you just do what you want, you just say what you want. He loses the majesty as a king. He doesn't build up others by his word. We do not know who the mother of King Lemuel was. We don't even know who King Lemuel was. But if you consider him to be a God-fearing, godly king, then yeah, we can find many in the Old Testament. But the most important, he listened to the teaching of his mother. There's something that is like burning desire in the mother's heart. My son, you... Verse 2, what my son, and what son of my womb, what son of my bowels. So 3 words to tell us her relationship with her son. My son, son of my womb, son of my vows. Listen up. How would I teach you? Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. Other people may do that, but now you are a king over a nation. It's not whether you are self-control or not. Your mission is to bring peace, blessing, justice to the people. You need to bring justice to the land. Do not do things that will destroy kings. Verse 4, not for king, not to drink wine, nor intoxicating drink. It is not for king, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes intoxicating drink. Wine, where are the wines? I want more and more. That's inappropriate. Because you drink and forget the law and pervert the justice of all the afflicted. That's verse 5. How about others who drink? To those who are perishing, those who are perishing, let wine so that they may forget their misery no more. Let them forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Verse 7. Remember his misery no more. But you are king. You are different. You are not the poverty. You are not the poor. You are not in misery. Open your mouth for the speechless in the cause of all who are appointed to die. Verse 8. Open your mouth. Judge righteously. Verse 9. And plead the cause of the poor and needy. Verse 9. You are king. There should be gracious words from your mouth. You shall bring justice to the land, to the nation. You can't live for yourself only. You are that person. You can't. You carry the whole nation on your shoulder. You must treasure your own life. Rule and discipline. Tame your tongue. The tongue of a king is most important. Do not intoxicate yourself by wine. You must speak justice and judgment. So when we say you rule over your life, doesn't mean that you do not drink wine. The motive of not drinking wine is that you need to make a judgment. That's the main thing. You live for others. You be king for others. Your life belongs to God. So how about to us today? It doesn't say that we cannot drink wine. But as king, for the sake of others, you do not drink wine. So that you become a discerning king. Self-control. Rule over your own life. The second paragraph, 10 to 31, talking about a virtuous wife. It's actually a psalm here from 10 to 31. It's a praise to a virtuous wife. Verse 10 to verse 31. There are 22 verses here. 22. There are 22 alphabets in Hebrew. So started with letter A in verse 1. And verse 31 ends with alphabetical letter Z. That's like the English way of thinking. The verse 1, A is Aleph. And then the last word, Tau. That means the last Hebrew alphabet. How come she write a song like this for her son to find a virtuous wife? Why would she do that? It's very easy to remember if it's like the alphabetical song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and 22 letters. And when we read this psalm, we think, did she arrange the important things in orders? The first one is a wife. She is a wife, she is an asset. So that's A. Verse, and verse letter B, she is a batap. Her husband trusts her. They have this trusting relationship between them. Very trusting. The husband who trusts her, his wife will have no lack of gain. But as we continue, it's not about the gain, about the interests that do that. Basically, just by the letter, order of letter is nothing about the importance. There is a lot of consideration as well. But the letter decides how this sentence will unfold. Let's read first one, that is verse 10. Wife virtuous, something like this. That's the line, the flow of the sentence. It doesn't say that it's easy to find such a wife. Who can find? Who can find? After the end of this psalm, you definitely can say that this question mark is such a good wife. Where can you find her? So the mother reminds King Lemuel, you must find her regardless. Her worth is far above rubies. It seems to talk about the worth of a wife, a wise wife. Because in Proverbs chapter 8, the wisdom that is, it mentioned that wisdom worth more than rubies. Rubies, so yeah, wisdom. Chapter 8, verse 11, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may discern cannot compare with her. So it's colorful, dazzling, radiant. It's to describe wisdom. Chapter 8, verse 11 of Proverbs. And it's something that is hard to find. If we read Proverbs chapter 8, the whole book of the chapter 8 is the chapter on wisdom. You say wisdom is not that hard to find. On the street, on the high street, you can find them. You pass through the city gate. The city wisdom is talking there. He's everywhere. As you ponder with your meditate with heart, as long as you're willing to do reflection, wisdom is everywhere in your life. But we are too foolish. We do not pay attention, and we do not care, and we do not reflect. We live a foolish life. But wisdom is at your fingertips. How do you come up the wisdom? That you have the stairs. You have the wisdom to come up the stairs. Everything that we do teaches us. Everything we do teaches us something about life principle. Wisdom speaking to us every moment, every day. In everything we do, there is wisdom in it. But now it's like wisdom in disguise. This manifestation of wisdom. When you receive her, you find everything about wisdom. You can call her a virtuous wife or a wise wife. Her worth is far more than rubies. She may set up a nation. She can set up a family. She can set the whole nation at peace. She's good at war strategies. She knows, wisdom knows how to win every battle. And she's also a trustworthy person. She also trusts her husband. This trusting relationship makes them no lack of any gain. They will lack nothing. In the original text, it's nothing about gain. That they will have no lack. That's it. It doesn't about gain. So this trusting relationship is also a mutually satisfying relationship. You lack nothing. A content person is a happy person. So they have this content relationship as well as trusting relationship. Verse 12, she does him good and not evil all the days of her life. Everything she does is for building up and for construction. Verse 4, which is like 13, she seeks wool and flax or willingly works with her hands. I do have some questions here. Suddenly, it's like, so verse 1 to 3 talks about her being, but suddenly here talks about her doing. She's not lazy, she's not doing nothing. Willingly she works. As you read on, her whole family lacks nothing. I want to explain this way. Willingly work doesn't mean that she's in lack, that's why she works. You know, if she stopped working, she will have nothing. She has a content life, but she enjoys working. That's why she seeks wool and flax and works with her hands. The main verb in verse 13 is seeks. That's the letter. So it should be D. Yeah, but she willingly works. She's not under compulsion. She's not being pushed. She does not work out of lack. So we can see that's her being. She enjoys the work of her hand. Verse 14 is quite an impressive feature of this woman. She's like the merchant ships. She's like the merchant ships. She's like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. Her planning, her insight, her schemes. You know, in the time of Solomon, they have their merchant crews, they have the fleet of merchant ships. They're able to transport goods from afar. And this woman, I don't know whether it's the wife-to-be of King Lemuel or the wife of King Lemuel. That's what she is. She has such knowledge. She transports goods, food. She knows about shipping, ship food from afar. That's why she lacks nothing. She's not just resourceful. In the short term, but long term, she's able to move. She's being to move around her resources. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maid servants. So her living is not tight. She has maid servant, and she knows how to delegate the job. She is able to provide food for everyone in her household. She gets up earlier than everyone and prepares everything, whether it's food or the task. It's not easy to have a helper at home. They do not live in you with you. They are waiting. They're waiting to receive job tasks from us, but we do not know how to delegate the job. That's why our helper, the worker at home, doesn't know what to do. But this lady, this woman, knows how to delegate the job. She rises while it is still night. When the sun rises, every worker knows what to do. And then verse 16, she considers a field and buys it. So at that stage there and then, Israel was able to do the trading of land. In the past, you inherit the land from your ancestors. That's your family inheritance. You are not to trade. You are not to move boundary stones. So it's the latest stage of Israel when they can trade lands. She's able to buy a field because from her profits she plants a vineyard. She's able to profit from a vineyard. She doesn't just grow grapes. There is excess. That's why she has the capital. She has such capital to invest and buy fields, expand her vineyard, or plant a fig tree, something like this. Verse 17, she's a special woman here. We can see. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. It's like a description, an adjective. That means she's powerful. She's able to do what she wants to do. Her arms strengthens her arm. It's like a remember Ruth in the book of Ruth. She was able to carry so much grain back to Naomi, her mother-in-law. She definitely was strong. Her arms were strong, Ruth. Verse 18, she perceives that her merchandise is good and her lamp doesn't go out at night, by night. Well, if she keeps working overnight, she won't be long. If I try to read it in under a favorable light, maybe occasionally she will stay up late to seize the opportunity, but she doesn't work overnight like every day and then gets up before while it's still night. But in certain occasions, she may have to do that. Verse 19, she stretched out her hands to the distaff. I don't think that she's working. She has made servants. She can delegate the job. But it can be her being. That's her joy, her leisure, doing all these crafts. She is not a lazy person. When the finance in your family grows to a certain level, would you still do such things? But she enjoys the work of her hand. It's not just for making money. It's not just to put her family, her household in order. She is able to develop her being. She knows her interests. So she can, like, put her hands and feet to do what she wants to. Verse 20, she extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. There's her hands here, but it's actually her heart. She does the act of kindness and mercy because she knows the needs of others. She doesn't just look after her own family for her own interests. Verse 21, not afraid, not worried. That's the beginning of the word. She's not afraid of snow for her household. She doesn't have worries. It's not common for Jerusalem to snow. So if it does snow, then it's a sudden change in weather. But she's not afraid. Her whole household is clothed with scarlet. The whole household dressed nicely, clothed with scarlet. Verse 22, she makes a tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. So she's able to put warm clothing for her whole family. And her husband sits among the elders of the land, is known in the gates. Verse 23. She's able to perfect her husband so that her husband does not worry for the household. So her husband can sit among the elders of the land. Then I remember the book of Ruth. Boaz was such a man. He was able to sit among the elders of the land and make decisions for the whole city. Verse 24, she makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies such for the merchants. We can compare this to verse 20. We can put verse 19 with verse 22. And then verse 24, 19, 22, and 24. But because of the letter, the order, the alphabet order, that's why these three verses are separated. Otherwise, we'll say that, she feeds the whole household, she does tapestry, art, craft, and then she makes linen garments and sells them. That should be a group, but it's been divided because it's been put in the alphabetical order. Verse 25. What does she wear? What is her clothing? Strength and honor are her clothing. So strength and honors are her clothing. That's the impression she gives others more than the clothing she puts on. She's an influential person. She shall rejoice in time to come. She does not worry about future. Then you may ask a question, where can you find such a woman? Honestly, all the way is the same question. is far too perfect. It's good enough just to have some of her attributes. Verse 26. Another important attributes of her, she opens her mouth with wisdom, a wise person. That's why wisdom comes from her mouth. It is unusual woman here. If we read the book of Proverbs, the most women described in the book of Proverbs, they are nagging, they are gossip spreading. But here she opens her mouth with wisdom. It's really rare because her life is filled with wisdom. And her tongue is the Lord of kindness. Lord of kindness is quite a special word. Combining Torah, tree of life, and then Hesed together, and the book of law. So it's the Torah, the book of law, combined with Hesed, kindness. What is her law? Her law is kindness. She does not just speak her with wisdom, but the law of kindness. Psalm 119 is the praise on the book of law. Psalm 119. And then Proverbs chapter 8 is a praise on wisdom. Now, Proverbs chapter 31, combining the law with kindness, with wisdom. And it's called the law of kindness here. She opens her mouth with wisdom. On her tongue is the law of kindness. Let's jump to verse 29. Everyone praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. That's the comments from her husband to her. Verse 31, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. In the beginning of the book of Proverbs, it says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And it goes on and telling the man, you become someone who fears the Lord. But now it talks about a woman. A woman, you should become one who fears the Lord. You shall be praised. It's not about your appearance, your beauty. Is the fear of the Lord. And give her of the fruit of her hands. As everyone gather together, let her works praise her in the gates. She is a powerful person. She's a kind person. She's a diligent person. She's able to unleash her being. She's full of knowledge. She's full of insight. So that her husband will worry nothing. And the whole household, her whole family live a stable life. She does not fear. She fears the Lord. And everyone praises her. May God bless His word. Starts with teaching of father, ends with teaching of mother. In the beginning, talks about sons of Israel. At the end, it's the daughters of Israel. You are to be a virtuous wife. You are the longing in the heart of King Lemuel. You become a virtuous wife. Who can find her? May God bless His words. That's the end of the message today. Let's all worship our God.